All right, welcome Spartan fans. Welcome to the Coaches Show. My name is Guy Danhoff, and I am joined by Coach Jason Burianek. Hey, there you go. See, it only took me 5 years. Coach, let's just get right into the action. Obviously, we just came from Chapel, and great news spread across all over Chapel today. The Spartans won this past Saturday as you guys traveled to the University of Wisconsin at River Falls, and you won on the road 38-28. And I know we had a chance to show on Twitter your post game with your really red face, and certainly you sounded a little exhausted and tired. And so I was wondering, what did you actually say to the team after you guys pulled off the victory on the road?
Well, I just talked to them about how proud I was of them. You know, that was a hard-fought game, a hard-fought win. It was really hot up there. 92, 93 degrees, which is extremely unseasonable for this time of year for Wisconsin. So dealing with the heat and overcoming some of that, again, you know, we've had a lot of really warm games, but just how proud I was of them. It was a really full team win.
Yep.
I talked to them about that. You know, special teams did some really good things, offense and defense. Defense got some big stops in the fourth quarter when they had made a run and were down 3 points. And then, of course, offense goes on a late drive to seal the victory, which is probably one of the more memorable drives that we've had in our young history. But overall, it was a big team win for us.
So, Coach, with that, you know, it kind of begs the question. We know that coming out of camp, we thought the offense was capable of this. And I'm certainly not going to ask you the why question, but I will ask the question this way. Is this the type of offense, though, that you are expecting now moving forward?
Yeah, I think so. You know, we've talked about, even going back to the spring, that we wanted to be a team that was physical at the point of attack and that ran the ball. And we did that throughout training camp. That was something that we made a lot of mention about, was our offensive line, and that we felt like we were making progress there.
Right.
Obviously, in the first couple games, there was still some work to be done with that group gelling and trying to figure out what pieces we could put in place. And of course, we were set back in that first game when Cody Markle went down with an ankle injury, and that required some shuffling around. And Coach Williams has done a great job getting those guys ready. And you know, between him and Coach Coe putting together a game plan, I really feel like that's what we want our identity to be, is you know, using the clock, be ball control, and be physical and run the football, and then ultimately take the passing game where they're going to give it to us. And the guys executed well, and the coaches made some really good play calls at crucial times.
Right. So speaking about ball control, you guys scored actually on the very first two possessions of the game. Came down on your first possession, kicked the field goal. Then he came down on the second possession. Isaiah King caught a 16-yard pass in the corner of the end zone, which had its own little bit of controversy to it. Might have been one of the few times I've seen an overturned call go our way for a touchdown, because Isaiah was pushed out of bounds and then fought his way back in to get that touchdown as the team was then winning 10-7. At that point, you guys really took control of the game. And to put your final stats, I mean, you guys had nearly 500 yards of total offense, but here's the cool part. You want to talk about a balancing act? You guys had 241 yards by pass, 233 by rush. I was wondering if you could comment on that balance.
Well, again, all the credit goes to the offensive coaching staff. You know, they do a lot. I'm more involved defensively, but you know, have taken on a bigger role being involved with the offensive side of the football. But you know, those guys get all the credit in the world. They prepared the guys. They had a great plan of attack. They stuck to the script, you know, I feel, and established really what we have talked about as our identity, you know. And as I said, when we really needed drives, we were able to rely on the running game. Chris Baldwin obviously had a great game, 195 yards of all-purpose yards, and a lot of that credit goes to the offensive line and creating the holes, and he did a great job of running the football. And then, you know, Anthony Taeli and Isaiah made some big plays in the pass game as well, and not to mention, you know, Gunnar Griffin coming in off the bench and made some big throws as well. So, you know, they get all the credit in the world. You know, the coaching staff on down to the players, and you know, the players executed the plan, and the coaching staff got them prepared and called a good game.
Sure, I do want to let Spartan fans know this, because with 5 minutes remaining in the game, you guys had the ball deep in your territory. You only have a 3-point lead. And now it's really all on your offense because there's so many things that could go wrong. You guys have a bad snap, bad center exchange, you have a fumble, you have an interception, and yet you guys have to protect the ball, and you guys take it the length of the field, and on a 4th and goal, what decision did you guys do?
Well, I mean, at that time it was pretty easy. We took a timeout on that 4th and goal, and I walked down just to see where exactly we were on the field, and we were literally about 3 inches away. Chris easily could have got in, and they didn't see it that way on the 3rd down, but we were right on the cusp, and that was an easy decision, because I felt with that amount of time, number one, if we didn't get it, that our defense would be able to hold and not give up a 99-yard drive with only about a minute and 15 seconds left. But at the same token, there was no way that the offense was going to come off that field, and that really started when the ball was on the 30-yard line. We had some 3rd downs that we had to convert, and Coach Williams walked into the huddle several times as River Falls was taking timeouts, and he was spreading the message that we're not coming off this field without a touchdown, and that was huge. With starting with his leadership in that situation of getting the guys and then them buying into it and executing. That mentality, that is really what a championship drive is all about. When you're in an adverse situation, whether it's you're ahead by 3 or down by 3, and you need to get a drive, to put that drive together and seal the game, that was a really, really important part of that game for sure.
Right. One of the things that I've talked to you about before we went on air was you guys looked in that drive especially that you weren't looking to hold on to try to salvage the game. You guys were looking to win the game, and you guys were very decisive in all those plays going down the way, and certainly capped it off with the 1-yard touchdown run by Baldwin. So, to me, that was one of the greatest drives in MBU football history.
Yeah, it was definitely crucial. We talked about the importance that we felt that game had for us moving forward, and that was a big moment, and the offense rose up for sure. That was I believe a 5-minute, 10-second drive. It was around an 85-yard drive. Took not only time, but it was 85 yards. Those are tough to come by. So when the defense came off after the 4th down, we got them to punt, and they made the decision to punt. That's always a tough call as a coach, but I think he felt that they were going to get a stop, get the ball back, and be able to put something together. So for the offense to make sure that they didn't get the ball back with an opportunity to win, that's huge. When the defense came off, I was telling them, hey, we've got to get one more 4-down stop, because we knew that they were going to be in a situation where they were probably going to go for it on 4th down, and we we're going to have to get one more 4-down stop. And as it turned out, that 4-down stop that we had to get was important for the final score, but irrelevant in regards to the entire game, because we knew that when we got that touchdown that it was looking pretty good in our favor.
All right, so I have to ask the question, Coach. We know that we don't see it that often. Obviously, this hopefully becomes a new trend. But talk to us about at a key point in the game. I believe we're only winning by 3 at the time. Zach Kern on defense, one of our linebackers, jumps her out, pick 6. Walk us through that.
Well, Zach made a great play. I think the biggest thing that he did was this sounds kind of strange, but he did exactly what we've been coaching him to do. It's really that simple because of the fact that, when we play our zone coverage, we tell them that they're going to kind of match the guy in his zone. He did a great job understanding what pre-snap formation they were in. Did a great job of reading the quarterback and understanding where he could get to on the field. And that's really tough on the quarterback because a quarterback is usually going to read his front side defenders. And when you just spot drop, as we call it, just kind of drop to spots, typically that quarterback can read front side and not have to worry. But the way we have coached these guys a little bit is that we want him to rob from the backside. He did it, stepped right in front of the pass it, and that's a tough play on a quarterback to see all of that. And so, but he did an excellent job and then got in the end zone, which was a major play at the time.
Yeah, well, it certainly also affected the total outcome of the game. Not to mention just the lift across the team was electric to see that. So now, just a few days ago, the conference put out some awards this week, and Jalen Cully, number 7, our sophomore strong safety, as you know, had one of his best games, perhaps as a Spartan. He had 13 tackles, he had 13 pass breakups, and he had 1 tackle for loss.
Yeah, he didn't have 13 pass breakups. He had 3.
Sorry,
yeah,
3 pass breakups. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, he had 13 tackles and 3 pass breakups.
Right.
You know, Jalen is quickly emerging as a leader on this football team. Does a great job in the secondary, is really the quarterback of the secondary, is able to get everybody set between him and DJ at corner. And, you know, Mike just keeps coming along. But, you know, it's a lot of fun for me because I get to sit in a meeting room and I'm his position coach, and just being around him every day is a blast. I mean, he's a high character kid. He's a funny kid, brings a great attitude every single day, comes to work at practice, and you know, he's honestly a true pro in how he approaches things. He studies film, comes to work, gives it his all, and demands excellence out of those around him, and that's exactly what we want.
Well, apparently I found out from Sport Information that when they were doing the interviews early in the season, that he listens to Beethoven's Fifth Symphony before the game. So not sure how that correlates to great play on the field, but hey, if it works for JC, then I guess it's a great thing.
Yeah, he does every game, so every game.
All right, well, Coach, obviously, you know, in the business of football, now that week's behind us, we look forward. You guys should be going to Davenport, Iowa for a 1 o'clock game this Saturday as you guys take on the Fighting Bees of St. Ambrose. Last year, we were able to hang on to a win 42-37. A lot of that had to do with the rushing part of the game. And with that, what have you seen so far on film that, again, kind of like you talked about last week, you like the one-on-one matchup. What have you seen that maybe you could exploit this week?
Well, you know, I mean, this is a good football team. Coach Magistrelli always has his guys ready to play. They're tough. You know, I think what we have to do is, you know, bring the same type of energy and toughness that we brought into River Falls. Right. We need to play together like we did up there in all 3 phases of the game. You know, when you get all 3 phases, you know, kind of winning, so to speak, winning their battles, you know, that the chances of you coming out as an overall victory increase. You know, and that's one of the few times that we can say that. So we've got to again focus on all 3 phases. You know, obviously we're going to want to try and run the ball, but we've got to get the ball in our playmakers' hands and do so. And I think they do give us some opportunities to do that. But you know, I think the biggest story this week is that I want to see what our defense does. You know, I wasn't. Our defense made some big stops, but at the same token, I think that we allowed too many big plays. You know, they had 215 yards rushing, and if we play the same type of run defense that we did last week against St. Ambrose, it's going to be a long day for us because they're very physical. They want to run the ball as well, and they've got some really good running backs, just like River Falls did. So we've got to be better there. There's no doubt that they're going to be gunning for us. Obviously, coming off a loss last year, this is their homecoming. This is their home opener. So there's a lot of things going on for them that they're going to be amped up for. And ultimately, you know, we've got to go out and battle for 4 quarters. And, you know, if we do that, I think that I like our chances. You know, but it seems like every time that we play, it's a battle. It's a close game. It's going to come down to little plays and who's going to make, you know, a big mistake and who's going to capitalize on that mistake. So we've got to just take care of things that we do. We've got to eliminate penalties. We had, I believe, 13 penalties, and several of them were just silly things, you know, that we've got to eliminate. But we'll be ready to go.
All right, with that, winding down, Coach, talk about big plays. Talk to us about Lucas Rockford. How's he doing and what happened?
Yeah, Lucas is fine. He started cramping again, you know, with some of the heat, and you know, Lucas has a deal where he's got to maintain hydration a little bit above what everybody else does. It's just something that he knows about his body. He's a little bit more susceptible to cramping than somebody else, but he usually really good about it. But the heat was tremendous that day, you know, and he just started cramping, and we tried to give him a go in the second half. He started cramping again, and we just felt like for his health and safety overall, the thing was to shut him down, and so we did that. But he's been feeling better. You know, obviously when you start cramping, you have soreness and stuff like that. But he's been getting some reps this week, and we'll see if he's ready to go for Saturday.
So I saw and observed on the practice field, Gunnar was running first team.
Yeah, some of that is to allow Lucas a couple days to just make sure he's healed up. So Lucas will be a game time decision. Gunner and Chaseman getting some reps as well. But regardless, all three of those guys are going to have to be ready. So we're making sure that everybody's ready throughout the week. And then make a game time decision on who's going to be the starter at quarterback.
Any other key personnel updates you want to give us?
Jonathan Clements is, again, going to be a game-time decision. He's still battling the ankle. Cody Markle is continuing to get better. So is Kendall Davis. But I think they're going to be probably after the bye week before we see them back. And then, I know Cody will be seeing the doctor this week, so overcoming that ankle injury. But other than that, I think we're pretty healthy. Got to go in and perform and execute at the level that we know we can and play fast. That's what we got to do.
Well, with that, Coach, I want to shake your hand. Got the first victory of the year. And what's really cool, Spartan fans, if the Spartans were to be able to win this week, then they have a bye week. Then they come home and they'll play University of Belleville, which, again, is a team that we've had success with. This is a team that we beat last year. So it is quite possible at the end of 6 games, the team could be 3-3.
Yeah, it's possible. I know what we're focusing on is St. Ambrose. We talked at River Falls about, win each quarter. We were able to do that. So, we're going to take the same mindset, win one play at a time. There's going to be plays that don't go our way, but we got to play the next play. So, we're going to get on St. Ambrose because this is a really good football team. Like I said, it's got to be a little bit of motivation for them, but same for us, and the fact that it's homecoming. We've been people's homecoming quite a bit in our history, and I understand why. But it's time that we start laying down the narrative that maybe you don't want to schedule us for homecoming, and the only way we do that is by going out and playing hard and doing what we believe we're capable of.
All right. Well, hey, Spartan fans, for the Coaches Show, you can tune in this Saturday at 1 o'clock. Again, check MBU Athletics Twitter. They will put out the link for the game. We will not be hosting the game, but we will certainly make that link available to you for the broadcast. I am Guy Danhoff for Coach B. Thanks again for tuning in to the MBU Coaches Show.
It's touchy, man. It'd be great if it was just on the screen and you just were able to.
Thanks, brother.
Able to.
Thanks, brother.
Able to.